everyone and welcome to The Big Fight. In a major policy decision that will have a lasting impact on the Indian politics, the Modi government this week gave its nod to the caste census as part of the next census. This will be the first caste enumeration in independent India. This had been a long-standing demand of a lot of regional parties and lately of the Congress party, with Rahul Gandhi making it the fulcrum of his political campaigns. So naturally, with the announcement of the caste census, a war has broken out for the credit of this big political decision. The opposition is claiming credit for the move, saying that it is their pressure that has worked, while the government has been saying that the opposition parties, particularly the Congress, always oppose the exercise and that it is the Modi government that is now delivering on this. While the politics and credit hunting will continue in days and months to come, one thing is for sure, that a caste count will change the political and social landscape of India like never before. Has the Modi government turned the caste table on the opposition? Can the Congress and the parties drive home the point among the voters that they have pushed Modi sarkaar into this decision? In the absence of a timeline, what next in caste count? And will the reservation now go beyond 50% pan-India? And what immediate impact will the caste census announcement have in Bihar assembly polls, which clearly will be the first political test for the Modi-led NDA? Joining me on The Big Fight tonight is Krishna Prasad, who is the TDP MP. We have Sujit Kumar, Member of Parliament of the BJP. Virendra Singh is Member of Parliament of the Samajwadi Party. Dr. Kalanidhi Veeraswamy is Member of Parliament of DMK. And Dr. Udit Raj is a senior Congress leader. I'm going to begin with you, Sujit Kumar. This appears to be driven by political exigency. What is the political exigency, an immediate one, if that has forced your hands into a decision of this nature?
See, first of all, I will applaud the government for this historic decision, which shows the government's commitment to social justice and for empowerment of the deprived and the marginalized. This is actually BJP's commitment to Dr. Ambedkar and his vision for the social justice and equity. This is actually a manifestation of the Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas slogan of Prime Minister Modi, because for BJP, for us, this is not a political tool, but rather this is a tool for ensuring that there is socio-economic justice for everyone in the country. So when you say this is a political expediency or what prompted BJP to bring this, given that there is Bihar election this year, not at all. Because we have been supporting this for decades now. Look at the history. In fact, the opposition party is thoroughly exposed today. The opposition party, particularly the Congress party, which has always been against tribals, against the disadvantaged, against the Dalits, and particularly against caste-based quota, today is speaking the language. It's almost like the devil preaching the scriptures. Okay. So today the opposition party has no place.
Should I remind you of history, which is now part of the Parliament records? On July 20th, 2021, responding to a Parliament question, Minister of State for Home Affairs Nityanand Rai had said that the government of India has decided it, as a matter of policy, not to enumerate caste-wise population other than SC, ST in census. This is what is part of parliamentary records.
Correct. But given that there was no census, because the decadal census was supposed to happen in 2021, because of COVID and other reasons, this has been delayed. And because now the government has decided to make it as part of the decadal census and not do it in a non-transparent manner, as is being done by some of the opposition governments in some of the states, for political reason, I do not know under what circumstances the Honorable Home Minister MOS has said that, but, clearly the fact that the government has made this as part of the official census now indicates that this will be done in a purely transparent manner, in a purely structured manner, leaving no doubt for any ambiguity, leaving no doubt for any political motive. right? And look at the history, whether it's the Mandal Commission or the Kaka Kelkar Committee, or whether it's support for caste-based census or reservation. BJP has always been in favor of this. Always, categorically, it has said this.
Okay, okay. But I'm not too sure how the BJP has been in favor. But I will not give the credit to the Congress either, because Dr. Udit Raj, in 2010, then Prime Minister, late Dr. Manmohan Singh, had assured the Lok Sabha that the matter of caste census would be considered in the cabinet. And a group of ministers was also formed on this subject. But what moved? You have been in power in India for decades, but caste census was never on priority of the Congress party.
See, what happened in 2010, of course, caste survey was done. However, data was not out. Let me tell you that who opposed recommendation of Mandal Commission. It was BJP, and Kamandal emerged in opposition to Mandal. And who led it? Advaniji. Who was the manager of that campaign? Was Mr. Modi, one. Second, what you asked the question that what Nityanand Rai has said. And let me tell you, the more important is about the statement of Modi ji. He said that there are only two castes, poor and other castes who are helping poor. There are no other caste. No third line of caste, or there are no other caste except these two only. And of course, RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat has said that the caste census will divide Hindus, and they were so vehemently opposed to it. And let me tell you that the Modi government has been pressurized. The way that Rahul ji was insulted on the floor of the parliament, and yet he said that you insult me as much as possible, but you will see that the caste census is done.
Okay.
And finally, Modi government has yielded.
Okay.
It is
So,
a victory of
Krishna
India
Prasad,
Alliance.
As an
It is a
alliance
victory
partner of the BJP,
leader.
as an alliance partner of the BJP, would you say that this is a government which has, perhaps taken this move, understanding fully well its long-term political implications, the long-term social implications, but you have done it only because you understand that that's a reality of India. Across states, the caste narrative dominates every election.
You see, what is happening is after independence, if you look at major decisions that are being taken by different governments, why important decisions regarding with respect to Jammu and Kashmir, with respect to equality of women, with respect to now what we are talking about the caste census, were not taken by Congress party for 60 years. Nothing was done. And we have seen so many important decisions have been taken in the last 10 years. One after the other, one after the other. And this is watershed movement. What has not been done in the first 60 years are being done now. So we should appreciate. Instead of appreciating, let us not criticize for the sake of criticism. Now, we should all anonymously thank Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji for bringing in this change, and that is the caste census. Now, when you are talking in the Constitution of India, thanks to Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar ji, when we talked about the representative democracy, everybody should have his voice. Everybody's voice should be heard. How did we do it? We did half-heartedly. Now this is the time, with the caste census, we are going to have more meaningful and objective data-driven representation in not only politics, but also in jobs, but also in educational parameters, in all walks of life. We're going to have actual representation. For you're all aware that even in SC, ST, and BCs, there are apparently equal, but actually when you go into the depths, there are unequal groups. And those unequal groups are never given representation or opportunity to represent their own communities or groups. Now, this is the only opportunity where everybody in the society, every small section of the society will be given an opportunity to represent itself, its views, its opinions, and also get into the opportunities.
Yes. The fact here is that the immediate impact would be perhaps felt in Bihar. Then there are states going to polls next year where the DMK and other parties will be trying to take credit. But after that, the big battle for Uttar Pradesh, and that's where Virendra Singh ji comes from. Virendra Singh ji, जब यूपीए की सरकार थी, आपकी भी सरकार थी क्योंकि आप सत्ता में थे, उस वक्त कोशिश क्यों नहीं की गई कि कास्ट सेंसस करवाया जाए? मुलायम सिंह यादव का दबदबा था उस सरकार को चलाने में, तो क्यों नहीं किया ये कोशिश की गई कि जो कास्ट सेंसस है वो इंप्लीमेंट किया जाए?
स्वर्गीय मुलायम सिंह यादव पार्लियामेंट के अंदर इस बात पर आश्चर्य व्यक्त किया कि जब सहमति होने के बावजूद ये कास्ट सेंसस क्यों नहीं हो रहा है। ये पार्लियामेंट में सबूत है। दूसरी बात मैं कहना चाहता हूं कि अपोजिशन के सभी लीडर्स इंक्लूडिंग हमारे राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष श्री अखिलेश यादव जी को मैं बधाई देना चाहता हूं कि जिन्होंने शुरू से अपने मैनिफेस्टो में इस बात को प्रमुखता से रखा कि देश में कास्ट सेंसस होना चाहिए, क्योंकि जातीय जनगणना होने से गरीबों को न्याय मिलेगा। क्योंकि लोहिया जी कहा करते थे कि जिसकी जितनी संख्या भारी उसकी उतनी भागीदारी। इस देश के संसाधन में सभी का हक है, सभी की हिस्सेदारी है। अभी तक न्याय नहीं मिल पाया है उन लोगों को। उस न्याय को दिलाने के लिए पीडीए बनाया गया और हम सब पीडीए के प्लेटफॉर्म्स के जरिए चुन करके सदन में आए हैं और हमारी मांग लगातार रही और उस मांग को समर्थन हमारे अपोजिशन के लीडर श्री राहुल गांधी जी ने भी पुरजोर तरीके से किया और हम सब चूंकि एक साथ गठबंधन में थे और सब ने मिलकर के कास्ट संसद की बात को आगे बढ़ाया और पार्लियामेंट के अंदर चैलेंज देकर के ये बात रखी गई कि इसी पार्लियामेंट के अंदर हम इसे पास कराएंगे। यदि आप नहीं पास करोगे तो फिर से पार्लियामेंट गठित होगा और उसमें हम लोग पास कराएंगे, लेकिन कास्ट सेंसस हम लोग जो है कि पास करा करके ही रहेंगे। लेकिन इससे भी अलग ये बात, इससे भी गंभीर बात यह है कि इस समय पूरा देश जो है पहलगांव की घटना से जो है दुखित है। वो चाहता है कि देश का प्रधानमंत्री कुछ ठोस कार्रवाई करे, लेकिन हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी ने चालाकी से मुद्दे को डाइवर्ट करने के लिए कास्ट सेंसस की बात ला करके लोगों का ध्यान भटकाना चाहते हैं। ये बड़ी चालाकी से इन लोगों का जो है मुद्दों को डाइवर्ट करने की कला है और देश उसको देख रहा है। कास्ट सेंसस तो हमारी प्राथमिकता है, लेकिन हमारी प्राथमिकता देश की सुरक्षा भी है। उन लोगों को जिसके निरीह लोगों की जो है जान चली गई और इन लोगों का नारा था कि एक के बदले 10 सर हम में आएंगे। पूरा देश इंतजार कर रहा है कि कब 10 सर जो है कि एक के बदले ले आएंगे। ये लोग कथनी और करनी में इनके बहुत फर्क है। एक शगुफा तो छोड़ दिए हैं कास्ट सेंसस का, लेकिन टाइमलाइन नहीं दिए हैं। लेकिन वो किस तरीका क्या होगा, ये किस तरीके से इसको इंप्लीमेंट करेंगे, कैसे जाति जनगणना करेंगे, जातियों को किस तरीके से न्याय देंगे, ये जब पार्लियामेंट के अंदर आएगा तो एक एक मुद्दे पर प्रधानमंत्री को जवाब देना होगा और तब जाकर के बात क्लियर होगी कि किस तरीके से इस देश में कास्ट सेंसस होगा और तब जनता को उनकी बातों पर विश्वास होगा। लेकिन क्योंकि जनता ने हमेशा धोखा खाया है, 15 लाख की बात करके लोग आज तक इंतजार कर रहे हैं कि उनके खातों में 15 लाख आ जाए। नौजवान बेरोजगारी की बात कि उसकी बेरोजगारी कब खत्म होगी, और दुनिया भर के ऐसे मुद्दे हैं जिससे लोगों को भरोसा नहीं है।
What next becomes very very important. I'm going to ask that question that you have raised. जो आपने सवाल उठाया उसका जवाब मैं भाजपा से पूछूंगी, लेकिन सबसे पहले मैं डीएमके के डॉक्टर वीरा स्वामी के पास जाऊंगी। डॉक्टर वीरा स्वामी, Prime Minister VP Singh, the then Prime Minister in the 1990s, had implemented Mandal Commission recommendations in December 1990, and then the reservation came in of 27% of OBCs in government jobs. What we had seen then was that the BJP shifted its gear from what it was earlier a Brahmin Baniya party to have a number of OBC faces, which included Kalyan Singh, Uma Bharti, both OBC loads. We have seen how the BJP in recent years, particularly under an OBC Prime Minister and Prime Minister Modi, has made that push for OBC representation, be it as chief ministers or in the union cabinet. Do you think this narrative really holds for you all to constantly say that the BJP is anti-caste?
Greetings to everybody. I would like to clarify, when this Mandal Commission was implemented, you know which was the party that went on strike and the number of lives lost at that point in time. And they have consistently been saying that they are against this caste reservation. And you have also mentioned that it was in the parliamentary records where it was stated that the MOS home has said that caste census will not be taken. And also the Honorable Prime Minister in several speeches has made it very clear that this is something which is not going to be done. And they were saying that it will create communal clashes between the Hindus over here. But in Tamil Nadu, if you see, we have one of the highest reservations in the country, if not the highest, where 69% reservation has been done. If you look at the history of reservation in Tamil Nadu, it was identified by a survey that a certain given community which was only about 3%, representing 3% of the population, was having 97% representation in all educational and employment opportunities. So this is when, as early as 1920s, the reservation policy was brought in by the then Justice government, which was in power at that time, even before the pre-independence India. And the concept of reservation was brought in. And subsequently, consistently we've been asking for a caste-based census to be done, because only then, when you do a caste-based census, you will be able to see the reservation policies, whatever are existing in several states, whether they have reached the given community, and to identify what other communities are left behind, and to be able to give them adequate representation in further policies of this government. So even if you look at historically, like after the DMK came to power in 2021, we had filed a case in the High Court asking for a 27% reservation for OBCs in medical college exams, and that was approved by the Madras High Court, and that has been implemented now. So if you see the history of the reservation policies, Tamil Nadu has always been, irrespective of whichever party is in power, either the DMK or the ADMK, we have tried to ensure that the adequate representation for all communities of the people are being given. And in fact, there was a decision where 10.5 reservation was to be given within a sub-community for the OBCs. But problem was that it was hastily announced by the previous government. But the central government was the one which came and fought it in the legal battles and said that this cannot be implemented. So to say that the central government has always been in favor of a caste census is something which I think is totally unacceptable. I feel that the government has been pressured. See, if you look at the census which was supposed to be conducted in 2021, which was not done, citing COVID, it could have been done in 23, 24, 25, anything. But they have surreptitiously pushed it so that the Delimitation Commission has said that the delimitation process, the exercise, can be done only after 2026 if a census is done. Okay. So if the census is done in 2023 or 24, they will not be able to do the delimitation process till the next census, which probably at the earliest will be in 2031. Okay. So the government is trying to see how they can bring the delimitation process by 2029, when they are going for the parliamentary elections. They are doing this to ensure that the number of seats can be divided, where the northern states will get more number of representation, and the southern states, where they are about around 19% now, will be pushed down to 14% of representation as a whole as members of parliament. Okay. So I feel this government is trying to see how they can get out of this kind of a sticky situation regarding the delimitation process. So they have succumbed to the pressures from all the opposition parties, to make it look as if this government is doing something. So we'll have to wait and see. See, just doing a caste census is not going to be the end of problems. Because once you come out with the census, the government has to come out with certain policies,
Yes.
certain reservations based on the study, whether this government will do that or not.
Yes,
That
that
is another
point
huge
that has
question.
been made, that point that has been made by Dr. Veerasamy, particularly to do with what next, because you have not given a timeline here, Sujit Kumar. We do not know when this process will begin. We do not know what is the end date, and also what next, because
And
after that,
reservation also.
will there be a pan-India reservation limit of 50%? Will you be pushing for that kind of amendment also in the constitution? How will you be going about it? And you know, a lot of charge coming in from the DMK and the Samajwadi Party and the Congress. Please respond, and then I bring in Udit Raj.
I'll respond to all of them. Dr. Kalanidhi, my dear friend, when he spoke of the southern states being disadvantaged, let me remind him that the Honorable HM has time and again said that none of the southern states will be disadvantaged and their seats will not be reduced proportionately. So please, Dr. Kalanidhi, you are such a learned person, you are erudite. Please, do not mislead us. And I'll go back to
Let us
Birendra
not
Singh.
get the,
Birendra Singh ji, you
agenda
said that the government is
derailed.
trying to divert attention from the Pahalgam issue and has brought this at this juncture to divert the attention of the nation. I really feel sorry. Nothing can be farther from the truth. This is the government. This is a party which stands for the policy of nation first. And let me assure you and the entire nation that there will be a befitting reply to Pakistan, which is the real perpetrator of this massacre. Okay, so there is no question of diversion of attention. There is no question of this being linked to the Bihar election. At any point of time, there will be some election somewhere in the country. There are 28 states and many union territories. This is why we have been advocating for one election. When you say that BJP is doing it to benefit itself. So at some point of time, there will be election somewhere, and Bihar election is still 7-8 months ahead of us. So this has nothing to do with Bihar election, nothing to do with diverting of attention. And also, Birendra Singh ji, when you said that there was all-party consensus during the UPA regime, what stopped Samajwadi Party from pulling out of the government? It was an important ally in that coalition, in the UPA 1 and UPA 2. What stopped you? If you felt that caste census was not being done by Congress or by the ruling coalition, you could have pulled out of that government. Okay, and Udit Raj ji,
let me get a quick response from Birendra Singh ji on that. Why didn't you pull out of the government if you felt that despite an all-party consensus, it was not implemented?
And then he could respond to that. Just give me 30 seconds. I would like to reply to Udit Raj ji. I have great respect for all these panelists. They are all eminent social and political leaders. But Udit Raj ji, RSS has said categorically in September 2024 that it is supporting caste count provided it is not misused for electoral reasons. It is supporting caste count if it is used for socio-economic justice. So please don't tell us that RSS has not supported or is not supporting caste count. Mandal, Jan Sangh was part of the Janata Party government in 1977. It supported Mandal Commission report. In VP Singh's government in 1989, it was BJP, the next avatar of Jan Sangh, was supporting the VP Singh government from outside. It supported the Mandal Commission report to be implemented. So, please don't mislead us by saying that, Mandal Commission was not supported by BJP or that RSS is anti-reservation and anti-caste. In fact, BJP is the party which has always, respected the constitution.
One view is that your government has actually sat on the findings of the 2011 census.
Yeah, I didn't answer that.
Did you actually not reveal the data which was so critical? Of course, that was done because of Lalu Yadav and Mulayam Singh Yadav being part of that government. What about when you came to power in 2014? Could you have revealed the data? Sujit Kumar?
Oh, sorry, is this for me?
Yes, that's for you.
Yeah, see, in 2010, there was a group of ministers that was in favor of the caste census, okay, and we had the decadal census in 2011. So the caste census could have been very much part of the decadal census in 2011, which the then government led by Dr. Singh didn't do, obviously because of political reasons. Obviously, they didn't have the courage, to do this. This government, led by Prime Minister Modi, has the courage to say that caste census will be part of our census whenever it is due. You asked me what next, please wait for the details to come out.
Okay, let's
because
wait
of
for
COVID
the details to come out. In the meanwhile, two
government
direct
will definitely
questions.
give the details
First
as
to
to
Viren
how
Singh, why didn't
and-
you pull out of UPA, and then Udit Raj. Go ahead, Viren Singh ji.
And, better I should quit it because you just unnecessarily you making
अरे
me to
उदित
say.
राज जी 10 सेकंड का दे दीजिए टाइम, बस वीरेंद्र सिंह जी आपके
No,
सहयोगी
no,
हैं.
this is not fair.
वीरेंद्र सिंह जी
It's
बोलिए.
not fair.
वीरेंद्र सिंह जी.
It's not
Madam-
fair. In fact, what happened, I couldn't complete in between you.
Sir, I'm coming to you. Then you'll
gave
get
a
all the
chance to
time.
other one,
Viren
and
Singh
of
ji.
course, others are being given 2
Yes.
times, 3 times.
No, I'm coming to you, sir. वीरेंद्र सिंह जी.
मैडम, इस सरकार के कई मंत्रियों ने समय समय पर इस तरीके से बयान दिया है, चाहे वो सपोर्ट करने वाली पार्टियों के लीडर रहे हो या वरिष्ठ जो है मंत्री रहे हो. कई मंत्री तो ऐसे कहे हैं कि जो कास्ट की बात करेगा उसके पिछवाड़े पर लात पड़ेगा. ये शायद रिकॉर्ड पे है. और जो छोटे छोटे जो और दलें हैं जो जिसके सपोर्ट से भारतीय जनता पार्टी टिकी हुई है, वो सारे लीडरों ने कास्ट सेंसस को माना है कि नहीं, कास्ट सेंसस होना चाहिए. तो क्या मोदी जी से उन लोगों ने जो है कि समर्थन खींच लिया? वो नहीं, वो सर्कमस्टांसेस आने वाले हैं आने टाइम में. इसी तरीके से जब मुलायम सिंह जी हमारे नेता थे और समाजवादी का समर्थन था और उन्होंने सहमति भी बना ली थी कि जो है मनमोहन सिंह से, डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह से बात करके और उस समय के मिनिस्ट्री से बात करके कि कास्ट सेंसस होना चाहिए और उसको लागू किया जाना चाहिए. लेकिन सरकार जो इस तरीके से काम करती है, वो समय बीत गया और उस समय कास्ट सेंसस नहीं हो पाया. लेकिन हमारी पार्टी का ईमानदारी से प्रयास था कि कास्ट सेंसस हो और आज तक हम ईमानदारी से प्रयास करते चले आ रहे हैं. ये हमारे मैनिफेस्टो में है. हमारे लीडर जो श्री अखिलेश यादव है, बड़ी मजबूती के साथ कास्ट सेंसस को प्रमुखता से अपने मैनिफेस्टो में लिया है और हम लोग उसी कास्ट सेंसस को आधार बना करके 2024 का चुनाव जीते हैं. और आने वाले दिनों में हम उन सभी जातियों का जिनको अभी तक न्याय नहीं मिल पाया है क्योंकि उनकी गणना नहीं हो पाई है, उसके लिए लड़ाई लड़ते रहेंगे. और जब तक गणना नहीं होगी तब तक वास्तविक उनकी भागीदारी इस देश के संसाधन में नहीं हो पाएगा. ये समाजवादी की अपनी सोच है और विचारधारा है. इसलिए हम इस लड़ाई को मजबूती के साथ लड़ेंगे और सदन के अंदर, सदन के बाहर प्रधानमंत्री को स्पोज करेंगे कि वो टाइमलाइन दे और ठीक तरीके से वो कैसे इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे इसके बारे में स्पष्ट करें देश को.
जी,
ये हम बताना चाहते हैं आपके माध्यम से.
जी.
You asked very pertinent question that was about removing the cap of 50% reservation. That is very relevant today in the context when a caste census is going to be conducted. If a cap of 50% is not removed, then what advantages it will have for OBC? One. And let me tell you, nowhere in the constitution there is a cap, but it was the judgment of M.R. Balaji in 1962 that made a cap, and that was also repeated in Indira Sahni's judgment. So what happened in Bihar? Already caste census has been done. In a way, caste census has been done, and the people are trying to confuse that BJP government or Mr. Modi government has done in wake of Bihar election, but it's not like that. बिहार की सरकार ने सेंसस कराया था और वहाँ क्या पटना हाई कोर्ट में कोई गए, बीजेपी के सपोर्टर ही थे, रोकने के लिए. वहाँ से नहीं रुका, अभी सुप्रीम कोर्ट में पेंडिंग पड़ा हुआ है. अब वहाँ पर 65-64% रिजर्वेशन कर दिया गया है. अब कास्ट सेंसस का मतलब तो ओबीसी कास्ट सेंसस का मतलब यह है कि उनकी भागीदारी बढ़े. जब 50% ही आरक्षण की सीमा रहेगी तो फिर क्या फायदा होगा? तो मोदी गवर्नमेंट मस्ट आंसर दिस आल्सो. And since yesterday, I haven't heard any clarification from the government that what are they going to do about removing the cap of 50%. One. And secondly, that why is it so? कांग्रेस के सरकार में ही ओबीसी को लाभ मिले 1992 में 16 दिसंबर 1992 में सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जजमेंट जब आया कि मंडल कमीशन की सिफारिश से लागू होना चाहिए, तब भी कांग्रेस की सरकार थी। मंडल सेकंड 2006 में जब अर्जुन सिंह जी एचआरडी मिनिस्टर थे, हायर एजुकेशन में ओबीसी को रिजर्वेशन मिला। ये दो मेजर जो अधिकार मिले ओबीसी को कांग्रेस के समय में ही मिले। आज लाखों लोग डॉक्टर, इंजीनियर, टीचर, प्रोफेसर है। 2006 के में जो रिजर्वेशन हायर एजुकेशन में ओबीसी को दिया गया था, उसका भी विरोध बीजेपी ने किया था। यही नहीं, ये तो कास्ट सेंसस के इतने खिलाफ थे कि दुनिया में कोविड पूरे दुनिया में फैला, बट नो कंट्री could postpone census, a population census, except India, and citing the example that there was a epidemics, that because of that it could not be conducted. But the real reason was that if they were postponing, perhaps Modi government was trying to dilute the issue, that once it's diluted, then of course they will conduct the caste census. But when they could see that it is not going to be diluted, Rahul Gandhi ji is there, India Alliance is mounting the pressure of the government on the government. So under the compulsion they have agreed, but modalities are to be still discussed, that what are the information they are going to collect, that it has to be seen that how many COs, OBC COs are in corporate houses, in
Yes.
of course many the investment also, that whether they have investment in industries or startup, etc. All these data should be collected. Then it will be a
Right.
meaningful caste census.
Okay.
And let me tell you, if all will be given representation in resources of the country, governance of the country, our consumption will increase. Once our consumption will increase, automatically our economy will be large. Why our economy is not getting larger? The reason being, most of the people are having meager income. So meager income people or poor people cannot buy so many products unless until buying capacity, purchasing capacity of the common people or OBC and SC/ST increases, our economy will never touch
Okay.
the developed economy. So that it
Okay,
is in the
since you have-
interest of the country,
Udit Raji-
it is in interest of the nation that caste census is conducted.
Okay, since you have raised the issue of corporate sector and private sector, is that what is coming next is the big question, Krishna Prasad. As the member of parliament of the TDP, and you come from a state, the chief minister of which, got that famous title of the CEO. Chandrababu Naidu was the first CEO chief minister of India. The big challenge would be that how do you get corporate sector, the private sector on board for the reservation cap, that they have the right kind of caste representation, and that's where the issue of merit also comes in.
Aram, in the last few minutes, it's very unfortunate that the entire discussion was taken to politics. Caste census is not only about politics. Let us please kindly understand this. Caste census is all about giving opportunities to those small groups of people who were brushed under the carpet and no opportunity was given to them, and bigger fish was taking away all the benefits. So now it is not only about politics, it is also about economic empowerment. And when it comes to economic empowerment comes in the democracy, the largest democracy in the world as India. It comes from entrepreneurship and ability and opportunity to take the benefit of various schemes, like taking loans. It could be under Vishwakarma, it could be Swanidhi, it could be bank loans, different opportunities are there, but they are not able to take because they have been pushed down. Now, with the caste census, all the small groups will now surface out, they will be empowered. Now, when it comes to Andhra Pradesh, with our able leader, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, who has recently started a program called P4. Under P4, what he said is public, people, private partnership. So typically what we talk about is public-private partnership. So he added another P, that is the people. That is, people should also participate in this partnership, P4, wherein 10% of the top of the society, top 10% of the society should do the hand-holding of the bottom 20% of the society and bring them up above the poverty line. So this is the thought process. And in this, the top 10% is where the industry or the corporate is going to participate. So not only CSR, more than CSR, there is a bigger role for the corporate. There is a bigger role for what he calls as the people who can take the role of doing bigger participation in the overall development of the society. That is, they will come and adopt certain families in the villages and do the hand holding and take them up. So now this is the approach. Even now, what our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji is saying through this caste census, it is not simple politics, but the overall development. It is towards development. It is economic empowerment of all the people in the country. Everybody
Yes.
should be given an opportunity.
You know,
That
but
is
the
the
fact
thing.
is, sir, that caste is a major socio-political fault line of India, and that influences, voter choices. It influences mobilization, and it also influences alliances. That's the fact of caste
Exactly.
in India.
While we are talking about that, why are we not talking about what is in surprise for women in the caste census? If we want to talk about politics, what is that we are going to see in the delimitation? How many seats are going to increase and where? And how many seats are going to those unrepresented sections of the society? So even in politics, there is a kind of a bite, there is a cake, there is a piece of bread for everybody.
Okay.
So that is what is important.
Okay, that's a point well taken, Dr. Kalanidhi, that if there is a caste census, then we'll know about data about all the other blocks as well. And that should be a welcomed move. Why has this been linked to delimitation the way you are seeing it?
No. See, I made it as very clear that there was two different issues. One is the caste census, and the other one is the delimitation. Because when you're talking about the caste census, when you're talking about the census, forget about the caste census. Are they going to do it before 2026?
That is
the
two different
question.
things,
Because
don't you think?
the Delimitation Commission has made it very clear that only after 2026, whichever census is taken, based on that, the delimitation process should be started. And I am accusing the union government, the present BJP union government, that they have delayed the census process so that it will be done in 2027 to face the criteria set by the Delimitation Commission of 2002. So that is a different issue. But when you're talking about the caste census, we all welcome that. In fact, we have been demanding for this because even if the state does survey, that is not legally accepted even in the courts. So it will be struck down by the courts when some decisions are taken based on state-conducted surveys. So the union government doing a caste census becomes very imperative for any kind of policy decisions on reservation or trying to give them some kind of an upliftment policy. So if you're looking at poverty, like Mr. Teneti was saying, if you're looking at poverty, you can see that in UP, the poverty is about 20%. In Bihar and Chhattisgarh, the poverty is about 25%. In Gujarat, the so-called Gujarat model of the Honorable Prime Minister, poverty is in the range of about 10%. Why is it that certain section of society is being marginalized, whether it is being done intentionally or not? It is left to anybody's conjecture. And if 10% of the people are left behind where they are below the poverty line, we have to identify who those people are and try to see how we can give them policies. Because if you look at the South states, Mr. Teneti also will agree that most of the South states have a poverty ranging between 0.5 to 2%, not more than that. Whereas in the so-called most developed state of Gujarat, where the GDP is almost similar to that of Tamil Nadu, you will find that the poverty rates are alarming. Why is it so? So has anybody addressed these things? Why did the Prime Minister, who was the Chief Minister for such a long time over there, was unable to do that? And why is it that under his Prime Ministership, his state has such huge poverty and nothing is being done? So we have our own assumptions that this is being systematically done to a certain sections of the community where they are kept poor. So we have to identify who these people are and try to bring in more reservations
Help
or
us understand.
handholding. And answering your question about private sector, how they can be encouraged to take in certain reserved communities for employment, I would say you provide them with education. You give them a right to education where we have a policy. You say that these communities which have been neglected, they should be ensured that they are given adequate education and they are trained adequately so that they will be able to find a job. It is not that if you get a reservation policy like how they tried in Haryana, it is going to become a disaster. So you try to educate the people and make them employable so that they will get employment, and you bring opportunities, employment opportunities, which the government has failed.
Okay.
Unless you have employment opportunities, why will you get a job?
Okay, I have just 30 seconds both to Dr. Udit Raj and Krishna Prasad. Krishna Prasad, 30 seconds to you first and then Dr. Udit Raj.
I fully agree with him when he said that, we should look at the below the poverty line. And this is all about, when you do the caste census, we know which are the groups which are below the poverty line. And therefore, what is the strategy? The strategy of the central government and the strategy of the each state government. You will have to identify them. It is a time to identify. And once you identify, then what is your economic empowerment strategy? Please come out with that. You have an opportunity now. Please do it.
Okay, economic empowerment opportunities is before us. That is the big challenge. And perhaps that is what can ensure a society which we are aiming for, social justice here. Dr. Udit Raj, quickly, 30 seconds, and then the last word will go to Sujit Kumar. Please go ahead.
See, people may see in the contest of who's a gainer, who's a loser, whose politics, who's going to be benefited politically or not going to be benefited. Above all, I see it that it is going to be good for the country. Every section will get opportunity to get representation in mainstream, in governance. That is more important, and definitely will improve or increase the buying power of backward people when they will be assimilated, included in resources and governance of the country, and resultantly it will increase our GDP, our economy will be larger. That is what is going to happen if it is really done in sincere and honest manner.
Yes.
Not that there is something inside and something outside.
Okay.
I would urge Modi government that Modi government is honest, conducting the survey, and
Sujit
timeline is also declared.
Sujit Kumar, quickly.
Well, see, the only objective for the government to collect caste data is to ensure that every section of the society have their due rights. BJP is the party which had brought in 10% EWS reservation for the economically weaker section. Even for the poor amongst the unreserved category. So we did it without causing any social upheaval. So for us, caste census has nothing to do with politics. And everything to do with socio-economic justice, everything to do with living to the vision of Dr. Ambedkar, and Gandhiji. For both of them actually advocated social justice, and BJP is the party which is doing it without any electoral expectation whatsoever.
Yes, so we certainly hope that affirmative action programs are likely to be impacted by this, but the entire exercise should be conducted in a transparent manner, and that will define how India moves ahead. Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of The Big Fight. Krishna Prasad Trinity, Sujit Kumar, Virendra Singh, Dr. Kalanidhi and Dr. Udit Raj. On that note, we are slipping into a short break. Coming up would be Union Minister Ramdas Athawale. Welcome back. You're watching The Big Fight and joining me now is Union Minister Ramdas Athawale. अठावले जी, NDTV पे आपका स्वागत है. सवाल ये है कि कांग्रेस कह रही है कि ये कास्ट सेंसस का फैसला आपने इसलिए लिया क्योंकि आप पर दबाव था. उनका दबाव था। राहुल गांधी भारत जोड़ो यात्रा पर थे, वो बार बार इसका इशू बना रहे थे, क्योंकि भाजपा के नेता हमेशा रिलीजन की बात करते रहे हैं, जात की बात नहीं करते हैं।
हाँ, मुझे लगता है कि राहुल गांधी जी के बयान में बिल्कुल तथ्य नहीं है, ये निरर्थक उनका बयान है, क्योंकि ये जो मांग राहुल गांधी कर रहे थे, बात तो ठीक है, लेकिन सरकार ने निर्णय लिया ये राहुल गांधी जो मांग कर इसलिए नहीं किया है। तो बहुत सारे लोग अनेक सालों से मांग कर रहे थे, और मैंने बहुत बार लोकसभा में, राज्यसभा में ये भूमिका रखी थी कि खाली ओबीसी का सेंसस होना चाहिए, इसी तरह की मांग होती रही थी। लेकिन मैंने मांग किया था कि भाई सभी जाति का जो सेंसस होने की आवश्यकता है, अगर सभी जाति का सेंसस होता है तो हर जाति का परसेंटेज कितना ये मालूम हो जाएगा, हर जाति के लोगों को कितनी नौकरियां मिल गई ये मालूम हो जाएगा, उसके साथ साथ उनका क्या डेवलपमेंट हुआ इसकी जानकारी मिलेगी, और सरकार को जाति के लिए और भी क्या करना चाहिए इसका डाटा सरकार के सामने आएगा। इसीलिए मुझे लगता है कि माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी सरकार का निर्णय बहुत बड़ा रिवोल्यूशनरी है, क्रांतिकारक निर्णय है, और पूरे देश को बहुत ही बड़ा राहत देने वाला ही निर्णय है, और देश के विकास को गति देने वाला ही निर्णय है। तो राहुल गांधी जी मांग कर रहे थे, इसलिए बिल्कुल निर्णय नहीं हुआ है। राहुल गांधी जी को हमारा सवाल है कि तुम्हारी सरकार थी तब कि क्यों ने आपने निर्णय लिया था? बहुत बार हमने मांग किया था लोकसभा में, तब भी आपने मतलब इसके बारे में निर्णय नहीं लिया था। तो राहुल गांधी ने यात्रा निकाली और वहाँ उन्होंने मांग किया, वो तो खाली ओबीसी की मांग कर रहे थे, लेकिन नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार ने सभी जाति का सर्वे करने का, सेंसस करने का निर्णय लिया है। इसलिए राहुल गांधी जी जो बयान दे रहे थे झूठा बयान है, और माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी का मैं स्वागत करता हूँ, उन्होंने बहुत बड़ा निर्णय लिया है।
लेकिन रामदास जी, ऑपोजिशन का तो ये मुद्दा रहा है। ऑपोजिशन की अगर बात करें तो बिहार में जब कांग्रेस आरजेडी की सरकार थी, ऑफ कोर्स नीतीश कुमार चेहरा थे, उस वक्त कास्ट सर्वे हुआ। कर्नाटका तेलंगाना में भी कास्ट सर्वे हुआ है।
नहीं, मुझे लगता है कि करके दिखाया वैसा सेंसस करने का अधिकार राज्यों को होता नहीं है, लेकिन राज्य ने भी, कुछ राज्यों ने भी ऐसा निर्णय लिया था, और नीतीश कुमार सरकार ने भी मतलब अपने राज्य का सर्वे करने का निर्णय लिया था। कर्नाटक सरकार ने, जहाँ कांग्रेस सरकार, उन्होंने भी लिया था, बात सही है, लेकिन उन्होंने लिया इसीलिए निर्णय नहीं लिया है। बहुत सालों से सभी लोगों की मांग भी होती रही थी, और नरेंद्र मोदी जी के एजेंडे में मतलब सभी लोगों का, सबका साथ सबका विकास का उनका एजेंडा है, और सबका विकास करने के लिए मतलब उन्होंने ये निर्णय ले लिया है। इसीलिए मतलब जो विपोजिशन अखिलेश यादव जी हो, या मतलब बाकी का खरगे साहब हो, राहुल गांधी जी हो, या और भी मतलब कोई जो नेता है, तो ऐसे नेता तो बोलते रहेंगे, लेकिन उन्होंने बोला इसलिए निर्णय नहीं लिया है। सरकार को निर्णय लेना ही था, और सब देश के तमाम लोगों को, 140 करोड़ लोगों को न्याय देना था, इसलिए निर्णय मोदी सरकार ने लिया है।
एक आखिरी सवाल आपसे ये होगा कि अगर आप लोग इतना सिंसियर थे, यही ऑपोजिशन कह रही है, तो उसका जवाब आप दे दीजिए। तो 11 साल से तो आपकी सरकार थी, केंद्र में आप मंत्री रहे हैं, तो आप लोगों ने ये फैसला पहले क्यों नहीं लिया?
तो पहले तो एक साथ सभी निर्णय होते नहीं है। जिस तरह महिलाओं के आरक्षण का बिल कई सालों से अपने संसद में पेंडिंग था, और हर बार मतलब अनेक लोगों ने विरोध भी किया था, लेकिन नरेंद्र मोदी जी सरकार ने मतलब महिलाओं को आरक्षण देने का भी निर्णय लिया, 370 आर्टिकल हटाने का भी निर्णय लिया। तो एक साथ सभी निर्णय होते नहीं है। 11 सालों में तो निर्णय ले मतलब टप्पे टप्पे से निर्णय होते हैं, और इसीलिए मतलब उन्होंने बोला इसीलिए बिल्कुल निर्णय नहीं हुआ है। सरकार चाहती थी कि भाई ऐसा सेंसस हो, और मैंने पार्लियामेंट में बहुत बार मांग किया था कि खाली ओबीसी का सेंसस नहीं होना चाहिए, हर जाति का सेंसस होना चाहिए, तो ही हर जाति का कितना परसेंटेज मालूम हो जाएगा। तो इसीलिए मुझे लगता है कि ये कोई अपोजिशन ने मांग किया इसीलिए निर्णय नहीं हुआ है, लेकिन जो भी है निर्णय हो चुका है। सरकार का सभी अपोजिशन ने अभिनंदन भी किया है, बहुत अच्छी बात है, और इस सेंसस से पूरे देश का फायदा होगा।
चलिए, रामदास अठावले, यूनियन मिनिस्टर, appreciate your time here on this edition of The Big Fight. That's all from me. Thanks for watching.